Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2. Episode 2 of the By-Tor show. I think we got some interesting things to talk about tonight on a ton of different topics, nothing big. I do have a little bit of a list here of things we're going to talk about. But first off, I want to welcome everyone back for anyone that is returning. Thanks for giving this podcast a chance. Thanks for submitting questions. Thanks for supporting me as I go on this little podcast journey. So I hope all of my American friends had a great Thanksgiving this past week. I know I did. We had a chill weekend. Didn't eat any turkey. Actually, we are a vegan household, so we ate some tofurkey. That's always fun. So that was good. And then just chilled out the rest of the weekend, which is always welcome. My wife and I just finished Orange is the New Black. Finally finished that show. So now we can get on to House of Dragon. I cannot wait for that. I know that was definitely ready for work this Monday, though, because I sat around a lot of yesterday just twiddling my thumbs, waiting for the week to start already. And I think I was looking forward to this podcast, too, because last night in my dreams, I was thinking about this podcast. I was sitting down here in my dreams thinking about what I'm going to say. Actually, my wife was with me on that one as a co-host. So maybe we can get that done in the future. We'll see. Not that she knows anything about SHL. You know, I've asked her to try out SHL a few times, and she has almost a negative interest in sports. Like, there's really no way I could get her involved. And if I do, I want that recruitment TPE. But I don't think she'd last past about 160 TPE. So we'll try it, but here's hoping. So let me go into our first little segment here. Let me clear this and share with you my SHL window. Okay, here's my window. First thing on the docket was open some cards. Now, I am not to the level of Luke and Rich in hoarding up these cards all week and, opening 1,000 of them on the podcast. I only have 3 packs for you today. But you know what? I foresee a Hall of Fame in this one, some diamonds in this one, and maybe an award card or 2 in this one. So let's get started. And I'd like, before we turn over these cards here, I kind of want to, Rich and Luke and some of the, more experienced players on the site, they can look at these cards and instantly know what user it is, these players' careers. And I know that for some of the newer players, but a lot of these cards, a lot of the older players, I really have no idea who they are. I mean, they might have a really cool render or, cool name, something like that. Obviously, a Hall of Fame designation. But some of these players, I have no idea who they are. So let's see if we can figure out. So, yeah, first example. I mean, nice, 69. No idea who that guy is. No idea. But good for you. Hey, Rich, how's it going? Thanks for joining tonight. Cleo Green, I think I have 800 Cleo Greens. Theodore Graham, I think I have 800 Theodore Graham. Bryce Turner, have no idea who that is. No idea. Okay, that's a great pack. So maybe all my Hall of Fames are in the next one. Let's see here. No idea. I recognize some of these names. I recognize Vincent Minatori. Yeah, I think I may have even played with him on Winnipeg. I don't remember. My memory is not great. And I do know that Big Manius here, I think that's Bonk, who's now in St. Louis with me. But other than that, I gotta really do my player research because I do not know who these people are. Okay, I'm feeling it. Hall of Fame here. Well, okay. That's it for the cards. Nothing good. Like I said, I don't have 10,000 card packs to open, unfortunately. Maybe I'll start hoarding up each week so we can open a ton together. Just like some of the other podcasts. But let's see. Take a look at my collection. I do have 5 Hall of Fame cards, which is nice. I think I have some of the good ones. Yeah. I have 6 award cards. Well, I think the Jason Visser is probably my favorite, even though it's an 86. Visser in the earlier leagues or earlier seasons of the league was like apparently like the best thing since sliced bread. So, and he's a Winnipeg guy, Winnipeg Jets. So I think he's my favorite. And I do have a I think he's not Hall of Fame. I think he has a diamond as well. I thought I had one. Maybe not. No, maybe not. I thought I opened a double where I had like his diamond and let's check out Winnipeg here. Oh, there it is. It's a ruby. 85. Okay. Yeah, 2 of those. So. Oh yeah, Rich, you like? Well, I mean, you would like Hall of Fame card because you're due, right? I think you. I watched your show today while at work, your podcast with Luke, and yeah, you're due, buddy, for some real rare ones here soon. I have no idea who this is. I mean, I take your word for it that he's great, Hall of Fame. Let's see here. We're gonna do some research here real quick. Oh, let's see. 3. I guess I could do a search, but there it is. Nice win-loss ratio. Wow. 30 shutouts in 482 games. Pretty good. Jester, McBride, Honcho, Mexico, 5-time nominee. That's pretty good. If that's not greatest of all time, I'd like to see a resume that's better than that. Because I know, well, never mind. I won't leak anything, but I am on the Hall of Fame committee, and we are catching up on some of the voting from past seasons. I know they haven't posted season 64 class yet. Yeah, I believe that, Rich. I believe he could have probably taken home a few more of these. I don't, like I said, I wasn't around then. No idea. Take your word for it. I don't know if we're going to see that level of success nowadays. Like, I mean, even in Winnipeg right now with OD having a great goalie, Rebecca Montagne, I don't think you're going to see a, 5-time nominee for McBride and a winner for McBride. 6 times nominated for that. Just with the level of teams now and the parity in a lot of these teams, it's probably your GOAT for all time at this level. Let's see. Yeah. But got a nice 99 Hall of Fame card, so congrats to him. Let's see. Speaking of old people, I did want to give some shout outs. I was just in preparation for this show tonight. I was just kind of looking around the site thinking, what are we going to talk about? Especially like, I don't have a co-host yet, so I can't balance conversation. So I kind of got to hold this by myself, hold the fort down. And so what in the world are we going to talk about for like an hour? And just looking around the site, trying to scrounge up some things. I've just so happened to click into these badges here, and it is an active thread. So like yesterday, we're going to do some shout outs here. Captain Squall, 5 years ago, they joined the site with Richard Fist. Richard Fist, a 12th season player. Ruslan is a Porzets, which I do recognize that name as well. And then also as a newbie with August von Hecht. I believe August is a goalie. Possibly defenseman, definitely skater, forward, goalie. So working their way around oh, here it is. Yeah. Defenseman, forward, goalie, working their way around the ice here. I wonder which one I'd like to reach out to Captain Skull, which one he likes best. I know some players around the league, some users around the league have done this route where they'll do a defenseman or do a forward and then switch it up next time to goalie, and then maybe back again if they did a left wing before or right wing. Now, I mean, I like the enthusiasm. I personally don't know if I could create a goalie. I think that takes some serious dedication because, for FHM, how it is, you got to be able to laugh at yourself and take some punches. I mean, if you have, if you're the best person on your team, you let in 6 goals a night, it's not really on you. But, that's the life of a goalie, I guess. So next shout out, New Jersey Bad Apple, possibly 5-year badge. So if it's true, congrats to them. OD, just talking about OD, 10 years. Holy crap, man. 10 years on the site. That's ridiculously long. I couldn't even imagine that. I mean, I'm creeping up on 2, but yeah. So Evo Williams, wait a second. I have your Hall of Fame card. Awesome. So Hall of Fame player, Evo Williams, Xander Green. What is that? So a few years in Xander Green, Vorian Atrides, Rebecca Montagny. Yeah. Oh, so Heck switched off goalie to forward. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I mean, with 20 SHL teams, you got to hit that window perfectly. Like, I mean, yeah, and then if if there's too many, or if you don't hit the window perfectly, you're going to be stuck behind somebody that's maybe a max earner right ahead of you, and you're not going to see time, and you're going to get traded out, and it's really one of those things you got to plan for and plan ahead of time. And sometimes you can't plan around like other people creating, retiring, that sort of thing. But it's going to be quite a few seasons. I mean, you're going to get, back up maybe your first 2 seasons in the junior league. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you, Rich. You switched. Gotcha. Yeah, first 2 leagues in junior, you might be, backup if the other guy is active. And then probably start the next 2 years if you stay in the junior league for 2 years or for 4 years total. And then once you get to SHL, you're probably going to be back up again for another 1 to 3 seasons, depending on who the goalie is. Like right now in Winnipeg, OD is our starter. I think he has 1,600 TPE, bona fide starter. But then Blitz created a goalie as well, and we got him. And he's at, I'm not sure how many TPE, but He's playing backup. Shiny Shuckle is playing backup to Rebecca Montagny. And the way OD is earning, I don't see Shuckle getting out of that backup role anytime soon. Like, and Blitz, he's kind of off and on. Like, it's not a total max earner in Shuckle, but it's going to be hard for him to keep it up, being backup all the time, not getting too many starts. And then as a goalie in itself, just the way the role is played in FHM, I respect anyone who makes a goalie. I think there could be some, great experiences out of it and maybe some great awards depending on where you end up. But, I mean, major props to those who do it. So congrats, OD, on the 10-year career. Holtz fan, 5 years. Congrats to him. Benjamin Blue 2, Benjamin Sergazev. So I would have fully expected you to just name this guy Trey and get on with your life, right, Holtz? No, but good job naming it something else. If I had to go out on a limb, I'd almost say your first name is Benjamin in real life, but you know how it goes. No, so congrats on 5 years to you. Keep it up, man. Let's see. D-Mood 11. Well, Maxi as well. Long time. Sorry, no details, no shout out. Congrats to you, though. 5 years for D-Muda. Oh, man. Talk about same name. Alexander Alexandrov times almost 4. Went into the Finnish realm for names and then back to Russian or whatever that is. So congrats to you, 5 years. Cool. Awesome. Keep it up. And that's kind of it for the most recent last 2 weeks or so. Let's get on from that. So, but congrats to those. I mean, yeah, it's a pretty good achievement to be around here for 5 to 10 years. I mean, I'm sure. Well, I think about this a lot. I think about how, I joined the SHL like March of last year, so it's almost 2 years. I don't really see myself leaving. Like, I mean, I'm in the point in my life where I can, do this kind of stuff beyond these sites a lot, but I don't see myself ever leaving this community. Like, there's not going to be a time in my head where I say, I'm just done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. Maybe nobody can predict the future, but it's just weird to think about. Like, is this league going to continue on for the next, 30 years? What's it going to look like? How many people are going to be around? I'm sure you guys who've been around for 10, 15 years or however long this league's been around were thinking the same thing back then. Like, it's kind of crazy to think about, how long these things go on. And, do you see yourself as like, 60 years old, sitting around on SHL? I know we got some boomers around here, so don't take offense to that. But, I mean, for me, that's, another 35 years or more. Like, is SHL going to be around for another 35 years? That's just an interesting thought. Yeah. So, just quick before we get to some questions that you guys posted, I want to talk about and give some plugs for the job postings, because I know, like, I've had this HO job position for World Junior Championship open for like a month now. No bites. It's kind of the off time for World Junior Championship and the world tournaments, but still looking for those jobs. There's a ton of jobs right now that are hiring people. Some head office jobs in the junior league, head office jobs for the junior tournament, updaters update auditors, backup updaters. I know Burb needed some help updating, so I chipped in a little bit this week and this season, doing some backup updating. They need more people. Like when I updated, it was on the update team like a year ago. You know, you'd be a backup updater and you might get a team to update. You might get a team or two, like if you're quick to the plate, you know. But now, the main updaters updated their two teams. Backup updaters updated their two teams, and they're opening it up to third teams, for people to actually get this done by Sunday night. They need the help. So if anyone's listening that has the time and wants to update, please help them out for updating. Because honestly, our league just can't survive if people don't take these jobs. Like 1 to 5 people cannot update every single team every single week for the 35 years that we just talked about. Like it's a community effort here. So look into that if you have time to do a job like that. And really that sort of job, updating, it took me like 45 minutes on Saturday to do all that. So it's a weekend gig. Take a few minutes, do it easy. Once you get the hang of it, it's like second nature, no problem. Still some GM jobs floating around. Well, just one, I guess. Newfoundland, I think. That's interesting. I wonder what this is. Artists. I haven't even looked at this one. Streamers. Okay. Drafts, award shows, all-star games. That'd be fun for somebody if they want to, wade into the podcast world or wade into the streaming world. I know, well, I mentioned this last week, but I know Jay Bay did an excellent job on our World Junior Championship streams. So maybe that's right up his alley. And then some trading card jobs. Just if you guys are listening, this is a committee league. It takes all of us to make this thing run smoothly. So if you got some time, I suggest you look out for some of these jobs. If you're new to the site, I recommend the SMJHL intern job. I think it's good to get your feet wet, figure out how things work in this league, meet some of the people, meet some of the GMs. I think that's a good job to have. Okay, let's get to some questions. Let's see here. Podcast questions. Oh, I missed let me go back first. I missed Zap's question last week on comment here. So small discussion on new players St. Louis got in the draft. A lot of good earning rookies. Yeah, let's look at the team real quick. Actually, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do it this way. Yeah, so Zap, obviously, for yourself, I think you're a great player. I mean, you bring a lot of spunk to the locker room, which is always a great thing. Teams need that. Yeah, and I mean, finding those people that keep the locker room chatter churning is very important, and I think you're one of the people that help us there. And I mean, your player and any of these players, no matter what class they are, no matter what skill level they are, sometimes, user prominence and player skill level doesn't always match up with on ice performance. You could be the best forward on your team and be 6th in points. And that's just how FHM works. That's just how it happens. So if Leclerc isn't getting the level of production you'd like, just hold on tight, and maybe we can get that up. Sparky, not much to say there. I mean, recreate GM. Nick, Bonk, and Slappy, I've heard of them. Never talked to them before they were drafted to our team. Sure, they're all great. I know Nick was in our war room in St. Louis because I think he was a previous GM for St. Louis. So no brainer coming back to St. Louis for him. Pifferfish, great. I mean, there's not much to say other than, I think we got a great draft class. I mean, you're all earning pretty well, which is all we can ask for. Your locker room contributions are great, which is awesome. So I think I've worked out. I mean, and some of our other players are lending their hand in the locker room. So, I mean, I think we have a pretty good group right now. And I'm excited for St. Louis. I know they're towards the top of the standings, and we'd like to keep it up that way. Which other podcasts? Carpy asked, which other podcasts in the SHL do you like and listen to? What do you like about them? Honestly, well, I see you, Rich, on the stream. I don't know if you're still on, but I do listen to Luke and Rich probably the most of any of the podcasts. I like their format. I like all the cards they open. I like seeing everyone loves opening cards, and they open like 8,000 per show. So I think that's a fun part of their show. And it's not just opening cards. They have a great rapport with each other. So just the, facts about things. And I think Rich even addressed this on the show today. Like, they have that experience, so they can just, go through the podcast, easy money. I like that about theirs. I used to listen to or watch Hockey Talk Tonight more often than I do now. I don't know. I don't sync up with when they're streaming too often, but I like their format with 4 people talking about stuff. I like the branding that Hockey Talk Tonight puts forward. I think I'd like to see that develop for my own podcast. Try to get a better brand and more buy-in from the site if I do continue to do this. Those are the big 2 in my mind. I listened to Jay Cortese the other day, and I think his actually put me over the edge to doing the podcast thing in the first place. Not really for any reason other than his was a strictly voice podcast. There's no video associated with that, which I don't have a problem having video, but I don't have a webcam, and I don't necessarily want to buy one. And I'm okay just having my voice and sharing my screen, and I kind of like that setup. But I think seeing his stream, his podcast, and how, he was just talking about stuff, I really like that. So I think I figured at that point I could do that. So here we are. One thing I'll say about all those podcasts is all 3 of those do have veteran users in the host chairs, which I think helps them in a lot of ways. Joe, honestly, Joe's show, it sounded like he was on, ESPN radio, the way his show introduced. But and I think the best. Joe is just a single show by himself as well, and that's the other reason why I think I kind of related to that show, because I saw, oh, well, he's just by himself. He's just doing a voice chat. Like, I could do that. So here we are. I think I'd like to test the waters for a co-host, just so I can, have some more fun with this, bounce some ideas off other people. I got to see who would be up for that. But maybe I'll tag Sparky and see what we can do, because I know Sparky will bring some spark to this show. So we'll see that happens. So no, Carpy, the podcast I like, some of those big ones. And then I listened to Slappy's podcast once. I need to listen to him more. I just personally, I like the ones that are on YouTube or on Twitch, where I can kind of fast forward through some of them. Like just do some quick arrow skips, see how the commentary goes on. If it's on a site or posted to a site where I have to like listen to the entire thing, I might not. So definitely having it on a medium or on a platform that you can skip around would probably be best. I know I've, put around the idea in my brain of putting some, what are they called? Like clip markers on the YouTube videos. It's just so people can, find content easier in the streams. Because I know, well, again, I'm pulling from recent memory. So again, Rich and Luke's podcast this morning, relevant. They talked about it. People always seem to listen to these podcasts or comment on these podcasts when they're being talked about, or when they're being grilled, or whatever it may be. So if I can put in those, clip markers, to say, oh, well, maybe it'll just be baloney as well. Just be, Calgary sucks at minute 6 1/4. And then I'll have some people actually click on the videos to see what I do or don't say about certain things. I don't know. We'll see. But great question. Slappy, how's the Snow Dog doing? I haven't listened to this song in probably like 2 months or something. That's going to go on my playlist tomorrow at work. Listen to By-Tor and the Snow Dog. If none of you have listened to it yet, give it a listen. Great song. Love all of that album. St. Louis is off to a nice start. A little analysis of where the team is at and what the expectation going forward is. Let's do that. Let's do that question second, so we can just roll right into the standings and see how everything is. Michigan, Ohio State. I'm an Ohio State fan. I know Sparky and a lot of the other people in this league are big Michigan fans. Michigan totally earned that win the other day. I don't know what Ohio State was thinking. Man, I don't understand why they just don't play better. Like, I feel like I wanted to be out there on my field. I probably would have got squished like a bug. But, it's just so annoying when your team just doesn't do what you want them to do. But whatever. And I was looking at this morning. There is a chance, however small, that Ohio State still makes the college football playoff. If USC loses the Pac-12 championship game, or if TCU loses the Big 12 championship game, or both of them lose, Ohio State could get in. And I don't think, unless like Georgia lost the SEC championship, which I don't think is going to happen, Michigan, Ohio State could possibly happen in the national championship game. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that chance is still out there. Now, would that be like the most hyped game of all time? I would say yes. Did I expect at the beginning of this season that two Big Ten teams could possibly make the national championship game or even the playoff itself? No, definitely not. It's basically over. Whoever loses the game, Michigan, Ohio State. But going back to your question, Slappy, why is Michigan going to win the national championship? You know, they beat Ohio State without their running back. I think if drawing a blank on his name, but Corum. If Corum gets healthy, I think they could win the first game against TCU. I don't know if they can beat Georgia, but we'll see. Big Ten pride, right? Last point on that. One of my coworkers is from Michigan. I'm from Ohio. We went over this. He was off today. He was visiting his family, like left over from the Thanksgiving break. He called me at work just to gloat, like 1:00 in the afternoon, 2 days after this game. He called me and said, "Hey, what a game. Isn't that great?" Yeah. So, I mean, if no one on the site is familiar with the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry, it is a thing to behold for sure. St. Louis. Let's get to St. Louis. Let's go back to hockey. Analysis of where the team is at and expectations. Oh. Okay, let's see. Let's go to the index here. St. Louis, a little behind in games played, so let's sort by point percentage. Second in the league in point percentage. Love that. Decent goal differential based on the rest of the league. I think we could stand to score more goals. I think our defense is okay. I mean, it's kind of top. I think it's fine. I know we've been playing Anthony a lot in goal recently, and I think his tiredness level has suffered, which might explain some of the goals we've let in. But I mean, I think we're having a solid season. I mean, the division is closer than I expected at this point. I think Vancouver may have been a little lower in my mind, but I mean, congrats to them so far. Carolina, I mean, I think they've just had some bad luck recently. I hope they just stay where they are. I'll take the division title. So just hold out a little longer there, Carolina in the second spot. I mean, the team is solid. I mean, I can't say much more than that. I mean, point scoring is distributed well. DeVito and Jim Bob Alabama are inactive players. So is maybe we dropped him. Yeah, I think it's just those two defensemen are inactive right now. I'm not honestly so surprised at Jim Bob Alabama and how high he is right now in point scoring and really everything. He's a 155 defenseman on our third pair, and he has 12 points in 15 games. I don't know how that happens. And in his second in the team in plus minus, has a ton of hits. Well, that's the other thing. Our team is super, super weird in terms of how our hits are distributed. Based on what I've seen in the SHL, since we switched to FHM 8, defensemen specialize in blocks. You're not going to see a ton of forwards with blocks. So if we sort the players here, the leaders of the league, there's like all defensemen on blocks, right? That's the specialty. It was a lot more distributed, not totally, but it was a lot more distributed in FHM 6. The same thing is true for hits. So in FHM 6, I think it was pretty even, if not exactly even, between forwards and defensemen in terms of how often they hit, how many hits they get a season. When we switch to FHM 8, hitting is exclusively a forward skill. So forwards for days, right? Forwards. A few defensemen sprinkled in here, but really it's a forwards thing. I mean, it used to be I would look for players that got 100 blocks and 100 hits per season because, I think that's a fine thing to look at to see overall skill level or, production. And it's fairly exclusive group. It is much more exclusive now because defensemen do not hit 100 hits and forwards do not hit 100 blocks. It's kind of crazy how FHM 8, made that change. But so that's my point is hitting is a forward activity. And yet our team, the top 6 players, 5 of them are defensemen. Like, go figure there. How does that work out? I mean, and I don't know why. I don't know what setting we have turned to where the defensemen are the hitters and the forwards are not. Like, which honestly, it's more of a total hit effort because these hits down here in the bottom half are still kind of high. I mean, it's almost 2 hits per game, which is pretty high. It's just our defensemen are hitting everything that breathes, which is great. I mean, we're winning games, but I don't know why that is. I mean, our aggression sliders aren't any higher than anyone else's. So it's just very interesting to see. And I'd like to see also if there's a correlation with takeaways and hits, because I would think that usually that would be a correlation. You hit somebody, they give the puck up, you take it away. I don't know if, correlation equals causality, but our takeaways are pretty good as well. And penalty minutes aren't high for how many hits we give too. So that's great. Great to see. Let's see what else. Let's look at some advanced stats. PDO's good, could be better on this low end. I'm sure a lot of you know this already, but just for anyone watching that doesn't know what PDO was, because I knew it took me like 6 seasons to figure out what PDO actually was. And PDO is just, I think, maybe I shouldn't give advice because I don't really know what I'm talking about. But I think PDO is the ratio between goals scored while you're on the ice and goals given up while you're on the ice. I don't know exactly how it's calculated, but basically if your PDO is over 100, you're scoring more than you're giving up. And it's the exact same thing with Corsi, except Corsi is shots. So our Corsi on our team is very good. We're shooting a lot. Yeah, I mean, anything over 50 is good. In the 55s and 56s is great. So really nothing to complain about there. Our goalie is Malachi Booth is a 155 inactive, but he's been playing okay. Anthony Dion, okay as well. I'd love to see his numbers get better because Anthony or Anthique user is great, and I'd just love to see his player get the production level, that the user deserves. Yeah, we're not gonna look at that. Let's see what else. Got about 13 minutes here till an hour. Not that I'm trying to stretch it out. Okay, I am. Let's look at, well, first of all, I expected QCC to be higher. I don't know why they're that low. Interesting. I wonder what's going on there. Okay, let's look at the SHL. I saw this today and I almost didn't believe it. I mean, I look at the index a lot, but what is up with Max Manning? Like 26 goals in 17 games. Are you kidding me? Like, what was the previous high? So he has 26 goals in 17 games, which is, let's see, that's probably, what is 66 divided by 17? Like 3.5? Probably 3.5. So he's on 80 something goal scoring pace. Okay, 59 was the top. 59, 55. 49. Okay, but that seems to be like NHL level, 46, 51. Like that's all reasonable numbers. And then this year, a reminder to everyone, a year when they turned down the scoring level on FHM, we have a 26 goal scorer in 17 games. Like, I don't know if Seattle is just exclusively running their offense through Manning, but I mean, that right there should say Denver or Indianapolis, because a Manning with that many scoring plays is a Peyton Manning. So, same thing with points. It's on 130 point. No, higher than that. 3.5. What is that? 120 point pace. 130 point pace. Yeah, that's ridiculous. And I did not expect Chimkin Wing to be this high either. I mean, Buffalo's overperforming in my mind. I mean, Buffalo have, I mean, a lot of these people, Chimkin Wing, Selleck, Kekkonen, Harrington, Beanman, Owens, Brooks, Bergman, I think. Don't quote me on that. But a lot of those players have been around Buffalo for a long time, even back in the golden days. But, I mean, their team TPE is not that high. Like, they must have figured something out tactics-wise to stay in it, to stay relevant, to stay successful. I mean, yeah, that's nothing to write home about. The PDO is average. Their Corsi is amazing, so probably shot heavy on the tactic slider. Yeah, I mean, mid performance from their starter, pretty good. I mean, exceptional performance from their backup, who I don't know if Tretiak is still active or not. No. So 230 TPE and he's 5-1 in SHL. Like, come on. That's a little crazy. But yeah, I guess congrats so far to Buffalo. We'll see what happens come postseason. I don't know who I selected as the dumpster fire worst team in the league for the season predictions, but I think I chose Edmonton and not Hamilton, and I am very much regretting that decision. Because Hamilton, I don't see them doing anything this year. And honestly, whoa. Look, I don't keep up with the a lot of the trades and free agent signings and rebuilds and all that. Like if it's very obvious, like I'll understand and I'll, be told about it. But I don't really focus on every team all the time, and I don't think anyone else does either. But I know LAP was pushing for the cup or won the cup 2 years ago, and now I guess rebuild. Yeah, wow, rebuild mode. I didn't know that. The more you know. I expected Montreal to be higher. I expect Manhattan and Calgary to be higher. I expected Minnesota to be lower. I expected Texas. Well, Texas is about where I expected. Chicago is higher than I expected. Winnipeg is a little lower than I expected. I think Winnipeg, we're having a lot of trouble scoring and generating goals. We still scored 60 goals in 15 games, but like based on last year's numbers and based on, I think, our potential, Winnipeg is not scoring at the clip they should be. Gonzo is great and Raven, but it's pretty average as you get down this whole thing. Ethan Duncan, he was at, almost point per game at this point last year, and now he's only at 4 points. I know my player only has 3 even strike points in 15 games, and Duncan and Beck are the 2 highest TP defensemen on the team, and we have 7 even strength points between us in 15 games. Like that, I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, need to fix that. PDO is, I think, could be higher. It was higher last year at this time, but we'll see. They're working on it, I think. So hopefully it gets better. The last thing, I think I pretty much covered a myriad of things. Nothing breaking. Just see if there's any questions real quick. So last thing I wanted to look at while I was looking over the site and some of the media was this cool concept of the lineal championship. So Brick Wall posted this, and I think it was a rehash of someone else's old project. But basically, you take the old champion, so the one last year, and then the first team to beat them has the new title, and then they're the old champion, and then the next team to beat them, and so on and so on and so on throughout the season. So by the end of the season, Atlanta once again won the season, regular season at least. And I think that's a really cool concept to do that. And I'd like to see, I wish there was a chart that showed overall the season, which team held the title for the most amount of days. I see Toronto had it for 27 days, San Fran for 12, but there were some other Toronto days in here, quite a few Atlantas. I'd like to see who held the title for the longest. But obviously, by the end of the playoffs, Seattle took their crown. Wow, Atlanta with another 30 days. How is that? Interesting. I guess I don't know all of it behind the thing, but it's a really interesting concept. So I'd like to see. Oh, so he did all the seasons. That's cool. So yeah, give that check that out. I think it's really cool by Brick Wall. So yeah, and well, we can wrap it up here. It's only about 3 minutes to an hour, but I think that'd be that's long enough. Well, I will see you all next week. Thanks for coming out. Maybe we'll get a co-host next time. Submit your questions for next week so I can have more to talk about instead of just rambling on forever about random crap. Yeah. So thanks you all for watching, and see you later.